A man jerks your door open, says, "Out of the car, I'm taking your car." You say, "Okay, take it. Just don't hurt me." You know what I do? I pull out the GLOCK, put it on his forehead, and spill his brains all over the concrete.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo, Big Fro Fist, Davey Boy Smith, back the whole brick, sold the one shift. You know who it is? Fish, rolled on my ribs, railway window blown on my.
If you've been watching my channel for a while, then you would know that I'm a huge fan of two things: rap and the hip-hop culture, which is mainly what my YouTube channel is centered around, and professional wrestling. Two things that I got into as a kid and stuck with me as I got older. I thought, why not make a video about both of them for you guys today? So kick back and relax as I dive into the times that rap and hip-hop culture collided with professional wrestling. I made a list of over 50 topics, and I know that I won't touch on all of them today because I only talked about 10 different topics in the video, so let me know in the comments if you would like a part 2. But before I get more into the video, I would first like to thank you guys for coming to see this, because you guys could be doing a million other things right now, but instead you're here with me, and I appreciate that. If you guys like the content, you guys should like, comment, and subscribe to help the channel grow. Also, follow my Instagram too, that would be greatly appreciated. You guys can always reach out and just show me some love. It's all good. Let me know where you're tuning in from, represent where you're from. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Let's kick off this video with one of my favorite artists, Westside Gunn, who is the man that I played in the intro. Fans of the channel would know that I'm a big Westside Gunn fan, and fans of his would know that he's a huge fan of professional wrestling. He has a project called Fourth Rope, which is a wrestling themed project with the titles of songs being wrestling related. Songs like SummerSlam 88, Ringside Rockin' Furs, Lex Luger, Vader, Perfect Plex, Dean Malenko, etc. On this project, there's even 2 skits with Ric Flair and Jimmy Hart doing drops for Westside and shouting him out. Fourth Rope would also be a company that Westside would start. In a now deleted Instagram post, the company was wrestling based, but he was incorporating art, fashion, and music. This included limited art prints, mixtapes, toys, exclusive merch, and pop-ups. One of the first things to drop under this brand was a Mean Gene Okerlund tribute hoodie, which featured an original oil painting. But as far as music, Westside Gunn has wrestling references littered throughout his music beyond Fourth Rope. He drops a lot of wrestling bars where on his song No Vacancy, he raps that he'll slam you on your neck like Bruno Sammartino. On the song Derek Bowman, he raps that he skipped the Grammys 2 years straight to watch wrestling. And on his song Claiborne Kick, he raps that he hit the brick with the Claymore Kick. It doesn't stop there though, because he also has songs like Shawn vs. Flair, Super Kick Party, Sabu, Undertaker vs. Goldberg, John Cena, Bossface Brippler, RVD, WrestleMania 20, and Eddie Kingston, to name a few. He also has projects like Hall & Nash, which is an obvious reference to Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. Westside Gunn and his brother Conway the Machine refer to themselves as Hall & Nash and released a Hall & Nash mixtape in 2015. Just 2 years later, in 2017, Westside Gunn would drop a project titled Raw is Flygod, with the cover art being a picture of Westside Gunn and Razor Ramon's faces merged together. The title of the project being a reference to one of Chris Jericho's catchphrases, Raw is Jericho. Flygod being one of Westside's nicknames. But this love for wrestling landed Westside in some hot water though. In 2021, a now ex-WWE announcer threatened legal action against Westside Gunn for sampling his voice. At the beginning of this year, the official Griselda Records Instagram account, which Westside founded, posted a screenshot of their YouTube copyright strikes from WWE for the songs Claiborne Kick, The Hurt Business, French Toast, and Allah Sent Me. These songs contain snippets of WWE audio and interviews. Westside definitely felt a type of way about this, and I know that he's talked about feeling underappreciated by companies like the WWE and AEW. You can catch him in the front row at a lot of events and always supporting, but at one point he felt like they showed him no love. AEW has definitely shown him some love, especially recently with Westside performing the Griselda song Dr. Birds during Daniel Garcia's entrance, with both of their hometowns being Buffalo, New York, where the performance happened. This was truly a great sight to see, but this wouldn't be the only thing that he did this year in pro wrestling, because also this year he would sign Parker Boudreaux, formerly Harland in the WWE, to his Fourth Rope venture. I explained what the Fourth Rope brand was earlier, but in the Instagram post where Westside announced that he signed Parker to Fourth Rope, he added that Fourth Rope TV and radio will also be a part of the brand. Now Parker wrestles for AEW, but Westside has been messing with Parker since he was in NXT and WWE when he was going by Harland. Westside was there when he debuted and got his name on screen with the commentators mentioning him. WWE would also tweet out a shot of Harland greeting Westside during his entrance and later posted a backstage interview to YouTube with Westside talking to Mackenzie Mitchell about being a WWE fan. Sadly, the video has been set to private on YouTube and the tweet has now since been deleted. I've only really mentioned Westside, but his brother Conway the Machine and cousin Benny the Butcher are also huge wrestling fans. Conway's favorite wrestlers are Ric Flair and The Undertaker. He also has a project called Reject on steroids, where the cover art is the body of the Ultimate Warrior and the head of Captain Spaulding from the movie The Devil's Rejects. But Conway also has songs that reference wrestling such as Bullet Club, Bruiser Brody, Sister Abigail, R.I.P. Owen, Ahmed Johnson, and Nash. Benny the Butcher has songs like Guerrero and Benny vs. Carlito, to name a few. Back to Westside Gunn, and in 2021, him, Wale, and Smoke DZA would make the track The Hurt Business in dedication to the WWE faction of the same name. There would be a remix to the Hurt Business song where MVP, who's in the Hurt Business faction, is on the song. Something that I didn't know before doing this video is that in 2021, Westside Gunn would pay for an aspiring wrestler's wrestling school fee. Alexis Littlefoot was the wrestler, and she was selling t-shirts in an effort to raise funds and pay the balance of her tuition. She needed $500 to pay off her school, and the month before Westside Gunn paid it off, she debated about dropping out because she couldn't afford it. He would pay it off for her, which I think is really dope. I could go on and on about Westside Gunn, but the last thing I want to mention is how in 2019 he got involved in House of Glory, aka Hog Wrestling. He would go to the shows and he started building and forming a relationship with the people there. They could see his loyalty and he wanted to take things to the next level, and Fourth Rope became the designer of all merchandise for Hog. 2019 would also be the year that Master P would get involved in House of Glory Wrestling. The company would be struggling, but that's when Master P stepped in. But then in 2020, we know that, COVID kind of messed up a lot of things, but back in 2021, the company would have a successful event called House of Glory Born Again, which had the main event of Will Ospreay and Amazing Red. This event was advertised in Times Square in New York, which was a big deal. I'm not really familiar with independent wrestling, especially nowadays, so someone can let me know in the comments on where the House of Glory promotion lies today in independent wrestling. But this involvement with House of Glory wouldn't be Master P's first time getting into wrestling. In 1999, he would get involved with WCW. To add context for those who aren't familiar with Master P, you have to understand that just a year before, in 1998, the man was the hottest thing smoking. Him and his record label, No Limit Records, dropped over 20 albums that made an estimated $200 million altogether. What was supposed to be his last album at the time, MP The Last Don, was #1 on the Billboard 200 charts, selling almost 500,000 copies in its first week. By the end of 1998, the album was quadruple platinum, which means it sold over 4 million records. Mind you, he did this all independently. Movies was another big thing that he did this year, with him releasing I Got the Hookup, which is a classic and nearly tripled its budget at the box office. This year alone, he reportedly made over $50 million and even tried to play in the NBA. Master P was truly the dude around this time. How him and WCW got into business together is through Kevin Nash, who I know at one point was the head booker and lead of the creative team in WCW. He was booking around this time because Conan, who ended up working with Master P in WCW, said that it was hard for a white booker to book a gangster rap group from New Orleans. This idea of Master P coming to WCW came from Kevin Nash and was presented to Eric Bischoff, who was the senior vice president of WCW at the time. Why Master P was even interested in doing anything with WCW is largely in part to his at the time bodyguard Big Swole. According to Big Swole, he used to wrestle in the early 90s for New Japan Pro Wrestling. He would be trained by Brad Riggins, who trained people like JBL, Brock Lesnar, Vader, Rick Steiner, and the list goes on. It would be Big Swole's idea to get him and Master P into wrestling, and he made some sort of phone call to Brad Riggins, who called Curt Hennig, who then called WCW. I'm assuming this got relayed to Kevin Nash. Negotiations would begin between WCW and people at No Limit. WCW would ask Big Swole who he wanted to be a part of his group, and he would say New Jack, but they said no because they deemed New Jack to be a liability. New Jack has spoke on this and confirmed this part by saying that Kevin Nash, who was on the booking committee, nixed the idea of New Jack being a part of the No Limit Soldiers. New Jack would confront Kevin Nash about this. According to Master P, he would sign on to do 2 wrestling matches and was reportedly paid $2 million. There are reports that he reportedly was paid $200,000 per appearance while he was in WCW. There would be a press conference regarding Master P and the No Limit Soldiers being in WCW. This press conference was shown on Nitro, and on the very same episode, Conan and Rey Mysterio of the No Limit Soldiers would face Psychosis and La Parka in a tag team match. The No Limit Soldiers were comprised of Conan, Rey Mysterio, Big Swole, Master P, B.A., Chase, and 4x4. They would start by feuding with Curt Hennig and the West Texas Rednecks. The West Texas Rednecks hated rap music to the point where they made a song called Rap is Crap, I Hate Rap. The song was quite popular, with the song getting tons of radio play on country stations at the time. WCW sadly never capitalized on the potential of the West Texas Rednecks. If you're familiar with the Master P WCW thing, then you would probably know that the deal never quite worked out. The group never really connected with the audience, and in a lot of people's opinions, they should have never been heels from the jump, and instead there should have been faces. People behind the scenes also felt a type of way because besides people like Conan and Rey Mysterio, the others in the No Limit Soldiers were relatively unexperienced wrestlers, and they were making more than people like Curt Hennig, Bobby Duncombe Jr., and Barry Windham. B.A. is short for Brad Armstrong, and he was experienced, with him coming from the legendary Armstrong wrestling family. His dad is WWE Hall of Famer Bob Armstrong, and his brother is WWE Hall of Famer Road Dogg, for those who don't know. Probably the most hilarious part of this story is that before the Bash at the Beach pay-per-view, where the No Limit Soldiers went on to face the West Texas Rednecks, Master P would call Big Swole, and he was irate. Dusty Rhodes had felt like the No Limit Soldiers were becoming heels when they were really faces. Due to this, he wanted the West Texas Rednecks to beat up the No Limit Soldiers to get their heel heat back. On the phone call between Master P and Swole, Master P was going off cursing about how the No Limit Soldiers don't lose. I was dying laughing when I heard this because Swole was confused and told Master P that wrestling was scripted. This didn't really stop Master P from still going off, and this led to Master P never showing up on WCW again, so that's why after his few appearances, this is said to why he never came back. The No Limit Soldiers were still on WCW programming for a little bit, but ultimately things fizzled out for them very fast. Something else to mention is that Master P's brothers, Silk the Shocker and C Murder, have both done things in wrestling too. C Murder would make the theme for the beloved NWO Wolfpack. Silk the Shocker would do the theme I'm Coming for MVP. That theme is really nostalgic for me and I love it, but MVP never really liked the theme. Upon hearing the theme, MVP would say, I always hated that theme. I never liked that theme. As a matter of fact, I remember the first time they gave it to me, I took it home and listened to it and I was like, it's alright. They then called me and told me Vince wanted to talk to me in the arena. So I went out by the ring and he was like, yeah, come over here, MVP, let's listen to your music. They played it in the arena and Vince was very unrhythmically bopping to it and he goes, what do you think? So I said, if you like it, I love it, boss. Imagining Vince McMahon bopping off beat to the song is really killing me. This is a CD that released in March of 2000, which charted at number 8 on the US Billboard 200. As of today, this CD is gold, meaning it has sold over 500,000 copies. This CD contains entrance music of then WWF wrestlers re-recorded by various hip-hop artists and groups. People like Method Man, Ice-T, Run DMC, Redman, C Murder, Snoop Dogg, ODB, Mac 10, MC8, Kool Keith, and the list goes on. My 3 favorites from this album are The Kings by Run DMC, Know Your Role by Method Man, and Pimpin' Ain't Easy by Ice-T. The Kings by Run DMC was for DX, and this theme is an absolute banger. This isn't the only time Run DMC got involved with the WWF, WWE though. That's for part 2 if you guys want that. Know Your Role by Method Man was for The Rock, and this is the best song on WWF Aggression in my opinion. I've seen the time The Rock came out to this song and it was truly electrifying. I definitely feel like The Rock should have came out to this song more because Method Man absolutely killed it. Go check out the song if you haven't yet. I'm not surprised he did well because he's a big wrestling fan and I've seen videos of him at wrestling events all the way back to 1998 when he attended SummerSlam. Ice-T did Pimpin' Ain't Easy for The Godfather, and Ice-T definitely did his thing with that song. He walked The Godfather out to the song as well at WrestleMania 2000. A crazy story that I found out while looking up some things about the WWF Aggression album is the story behind the making of the Wreck song for Mankind. During the making of this song, ODB was serving a year in a drug rehabilitation facility Impact House. He would use a day pass from the drug rehabilitation center to record with Kool Keith to make the theme. Him and Kool Keith would get together, buy some chicken, and would make the record spontaneously. They didn't really have anything in mind as to what they really wanted to do with the track, but vibed out and got it done. I found this out via an MTV article from 2000, and originally the WWF Aggression album was initially supposed to drop in February of 2000, but was delayed to March. WWF Raw was expected to be the title, but this was changed. There were also people who were supposed to feature on the album, but didn't make the final version of the album. Slick Rick, the Cash Money Millionaires, the Hot Boys, and Mobb Deep were slated to appear. When I saw this, it crushed my heart because I'm 1, interested in what these songs sounded like, and 2, I'm interested as to what themes they were supposed to rap over. Mobb Deep is the main one I'm really interested in because I can only imagine how good it could have sounded. I also managed to come across some more information, and this was truly heartbreaking as well. I found another MTV article from June of 2000 where it talked about the planned follow-up for WWF Aggression, which was WWF Aggression Volume 2. This project was set to have artists like Jay-Z, Busta Rhymes, Da Brat, Ice Cube, and Ghostface Killah. So this announcement would come almost 3 months after the WWF Aggression album. It had the same concept of the first WWF Aggression, with these artists reworking entrance music of WWF stars such as Chyna, the Dudley Boys, Taz, the Hardy Boys, Eddie Guerrero, Too Cool, the Acolytes, and the Radicals. The Rock, Triple H, and The Undertaker were also people who were planned to get their entrance music reworked. According to the article, the first WWF Aggression offered hip-hop with heavy doses of rock, but Volume 2 was said to be leaning towards a more traditional hip-hop feel. Sadly, we would never see the release of WWF Aggression Volume 2. It was scheduled to be released in the 4th quarter of 2000 around the holidays. It looks like the WWF took a different route because they would ultimately release WWF The Music Volume 5 in February of 2001. This album would do better than WWF Aggression due to it peaking at number 2 on the Billboard 200. Now you know we can't have a video talking about rap and wrestling without talking about one of the greatest white rappers of all time, and his name is John Cena. As a kid, I thought 50 Cent and John Cena were just like superhuman. I grew up with the Chain Gang version of John Cena, but many people from back in the days remember the Word Life era of John Cena. This is the time before he became Super Cena and the face of the franchise. But before his Doctor of Thugonomics era, he was very close to being released by the WWE. During a bus ride on a European tour, John Cena would engage in a freestyle rap battle with the likes of Rikishi and Rey Mysterio while on the bus. Stephanie McMahon, who's the daughter of Vince McMahon, who at this time was chairman and CEO of the company, was impressed with Cena's skills and wanted him to do the rapper gimmick on TV. The Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick really took off to much fanfare. Looking back at this run now, you can definitely tell why this run is so beloved, because John Cena was really tapped in to the rap and hip hop culture growing up. It all began for him back in the late 80s and early 90s when he would listen to the likes of the Beastie Boys, Run DMC, and NWA. He soon fell in love with the rebellious nature that the art form gave off. This love for the rap and hip hop culture would sadly lead to John Cena getting bullied as a kid because he dressed different due to him dressing like his favorite rappers at the time. But fast forward to his Word Life days, and John Cena went all in with being the rap guy. He was doing rap battles in parking lots, dropped a rap album, and rap battling other WWE wrestlers. Some of the memorable rap battles that he did were against Kurt Angle, Rikishi, Brian Kendricks, and The Big Show. Can't forget how he would come out to the ring and send shots verbally to people as well. His basic Thugonomics theme song still is fire to this day. I used to use that song on my created characters back in the day for the first SmackDown vs. Raw game. John Cena would go on to release the album You Can't See Me in March of 2005. The album would peak at number 15 on the Billboard 200 charts with over 143,000 copies sold in its first week. If It All Ended Tomorrow is also a really great track off of this album. As of today, this album is platinum, meaning it has sold over 1 million copies. The album largely featured his cousin, The Trademark. It was led by the single The Time Is Now, which has now been John Cena's theme song for years after Word Life. The cover art for the album features the WWE spinner belt that John Cena revealed in 2005, a belt in which John Cena had a lot of input for its design. As a kid, I always wanted this belt and it was a top seller, but there also are plenty of people who despise the belt. I feel like it only really fit John Cena, but looking back at it now, the belt does kind of look ridiculous like a little bit. But the song The Time Is Now is forever infamous due to it being a meme, but some people don't know that this song got the WWE sued. The rap group MOP would sue the WWE and alleged that the WWE illegally obtained the rights to sample their song Any Up for the song My Time Is Now. The group requested an undisclosed sum of damages from the WWE from all proceeds made from the song and for the track to be recalled. This case would eventually voluntarily get dismissed. Also, the opening line of the song has been misinterpreted by people for many years. I've seen people say that they thought that it was apple dough or rapido. It's actually Amado, which is sampled by the MOP song Annie Up. Amado is in reference to Amado Diallo, who passed away in February of 1999 due to getting shot 41 times by the police while being unarmed. The Time Is Now is a banger of a song, but a really good verse John Cena has is on the Murs song Hustle, which released in 2004 from his album Murs 316, the 9th edition. What's dope is that Murs would take to Twitter in March of this year to share some details about working with John Cena. He said that John Cena came to the shoot in a rental car fresh off of the set of the movie The Marine, wearing a rose gold diamond studded watch. He had no security and did his thing. After the shoot, John Cena kicked it with the kids and gangbangers for 3 hours until everyone got a pic or autograph of him. Upon sharing this information, John Cena replied and thanked Murs for believing in him when very few people did. Murs is a very talented rapper, and for him to give John Cena a chance really helped John Cena's confidence. Really wholesome moment. Now, some might be thinking why John Cena never dropped another album. There's multiple reasons for that, but I think one reason is that soon after this album, John Cena would transition into Chain Gang John Cena with the Marine and everything like that. Something interesting that I did find out is that John Cena has quite an amount of unreleased music. He has said that during the recording of the You Can't See Me album, he recorded about 85 songs. You gotta keep in mind that only 16 of those songs ended up on the album. But besides his song with Murs and the song on his debut album, John Cena has other tracks. Songs like Untouchables, which appeared on the compilation album Theme Addict WWE The Music Volume 6 in 2014. I see the rap legend Big Daddy Kane is listed as a composer for the track. He also has 2 songs with Wiz Khalifa, who's another rap legend, with those songs being Breaks and All Day. Those songs appeared on the soundtrack for WWE 2K15. Hustle, Loyalty, and Respect is a song that I believe was on the John Cena Experience documentary. Going back to his album of You Can't See Me, and the phrase You Can't See Me would become a meme. The whole invisible John Cena thing. He taunts his opponent in the ring and waves his hand in front of his face while saying you can't see me. This taunt was inspired by Tony Yayo, who's a part of the legendary rap group G Unit. About this, John Cena would say, and I remember hearing this one beat, and it was that beat for My Time Is Now, the build to the crescendo and the horns and the brass and that heavy hit on the bass. Like, it had everything, and we would always use my little brother as kind of our litmus test because he was a really harsh critic, and if he enjoyed it, I knew we were okay. And I remember him just going like this and like getting lost in it, and I think he was doing what was, I think, the Tony Yayo dance at the time, where Tony Yayo would do this hand in front of his face and shake his head, and I was like, dude, what are you doing? It was ridiculous. And he was like, I'm doing the Yayo dance. I'm like, okay, I'll do that on TV to pay homage to you liking the beat, because I'm gonna go with this for the song. And he dared me, and on a dare I was like, yo, I'm definitely doing this. So instead of doing the Yayo dance, I kind of did this reverse, because I figured it would be more visible to show my brother on TV, like, hey, I'm doing this thing that you dared me to do, and you can't see me. Is kind of a way to talk smack in hip-hop culture, like you're not on my level. So I kind of put the 2 and 2 together, just really trying to make one person in West Newbury, Massachusetts laugh. Also, did you know that John Cena allegedly was supposed to do a rap battle against Jay-Z and Fabulous at WrestleMania 19? This obviously ended up not happening. This then led to the segment being bumped from WrestleMania. John Cena would then rap against cardboard cutouts of Fabulous and Jay-Z during Sunday Night Heat, which was filmed the very same night. It has been reported that Jay-Z would pull out just a few weeks before WrestleMania, with him claiming that him and his wife Beyonce had to cancel their appearances due to other commitments. Fabulous, on the other hand, in a tweet from 2019, said that he didn't remember anyone hitting him up to battle John Cena. Wrestler Chris Hero, or Cassius Ohno as he was known by in the WWE, has said that Jay-Z is one of John Cena's favorite rappers, along with Eminem, Copyright, and Jadakiss. Copyright is a rapper out of Columbus, Ohio, and even though this is one of John Cena's favorite rappers, Copyright has accused John Cena of stealing his lyrics and ended up dissing him in a song called, spoiler alert, Have You Seen Her? While doing research for this part, I came across an interaction between Snoop Dogg and John Cena that involves former WWE wrestler Brodus Clay. Brodus Clay wasn't with the WWE at this time and went back to bodyguarding for Snoop Dogg. John Cena would appear at a recording studio in LA to do a song with Snoop Dogg and was surprised to see Brodus Clay there. They chatted it up, and the rappers who were in the recording studio, according to Brodus, were heated because they all thought that they had to write raps for John Cena. They began a trash talk, but Cena would then come in and freestyle, and in 15 minutes he was done. The rappers were legitimately shocked and realized that Cena had actual skill. Method Man and John Cena would appear on the cover for the June edition of the 2004 SmackDown magazine. Method Man would interview John Cena, and in this interview, John Cena mentioned before his debut album that he wanted to work with Joe Budden, Redman, Eminem, and members of the Wu-Tang Clan. This ended up never happening, but it's definitely something to think about. Something that was brought to my attention is that according to Jack One, who produced 5 tracks on the You Can't See Me album, he said that he initially wanted to give the beats that ended up on the album to Ghostface Killah. He gave a CD full of instrumentals to John Cena, which he initially wanted to give to Ghostface, but didn't because by his own admission, he didn't have the conviction at that point to present them to the legendary Wu-Tang rapper. That means in some alternate universe, we could have got Ghostface Killah rapping on The Time Is Now beat. I believe everything happens for a reason, but man, that's really cool to think about. The last thing I want to touch on is that John Cena has an unreleased song with R-Truth. In an interview, R-Truth revealed that his childhood hero, John Cena, came to his house and they recorded a song together. They were supposed to premiere the song, but sadly, this never happened. Speaking of R-Truth, he has an interesting connection with rap and the hip-hop culture. He started out as a dancer, but he also had aspirations of becoming a rapper. He used to go to Jack the Rapper back in the day, which used to be a big hip-hop gathering. At Jack the Rapper is where R-Truth would meet rap legends such as Tupac and Eazy-E. These are where the pictures of him, Tupac, and Eazy-E come from. Truth used to be a show opener for acts who came through Georgia, South, and North Carolina. He would make a song back in the day that got radio play, but he didn't receive a dime. Due to him not really making any money from his music, he went to the streets and got his money that way. The street life eventually caught up with him and resulted in him being in and out of jail. It would be a 13th month jail stint that woke Truth up, and while he was living in a halfway house, his life would change forever when he met Jack Crockett, who's in the Crockett family, which started Jim Crockett Promotions. Jack Crockett would extend an offer to change Truth's life and get him into wrestling, but at the time, Truth still wanted to pursue a career in music. He would have numerous run-ins with the law again within these few years, and eventually he went on to accept Jack Crockett's offer, and Truth would leave the street life to become a wrestler. He spent his time training and wrestling on the indies until he sent a promo tape to the then WWF, which then led to a meeting with Vince McMahon. He would go by the name K-Quick and be in development for a time. He would debut on Monday Night Raw in 2000 and would be in a tag team with Road Dogg. K-Quick's theme was called Get Rowdy and was a rap between Road Dogg and K-Quick. While they were in a tag team together, they would rap and dance to the ring. His tag team with Road Dogg would eventually end and Road Dogg would leave the company. K-Quick continued on and had another version of the Get Rowdy song with just him. He had a solo run, but he was ultimately released. It wouldn't take long for him to turn up in TNA, and at first, he went by the name K-Crush. Later on down the line, he would be known as Ron the Truth Killings and would go on to be the first black man to win the NWA World Championship. While in TNA, Ron rapped his theme once again, and this is when I started to realize that he reminded me a lot of the rapper Mystical and the Godfather of Soul and the greatest rapper of all time, James Brown. During his time in TNA, Ron would be a part of the 3 Live Crew, which is in reference to the hip-hop group 2 Live Crew. He would be reunited with Road Dogg once again, who at this time went by BG James. Conan would also be in the group as well. I'm not going to get into the whole 4 Live Crew thing, but they would do the typical rap to the ring and dance thing that Truth has pretty much done his whole career. After his time in TNA, he would go back to the WWE, where he now went by R-Truth, and his theme song What's Up is definitely his best theme. hands down. As of today, R-Truth is still rapping and doing his thing, releasing songs such as What It Is, Umbrella, Legacy, and Set It Off. As far as his discography, he would release the album Invincible in 2003 under the K-Crush moniker. Years later, he would release the album entitled Killing It in April of 2016, while dropping another album entitled Legacy in 2021. About his music, R-Truth would say, "All the music that I've done and that I do now, I never glorify or talk about selling drugs. I never talk about being in a trap house. I never glorify street life. All my music has always been about positive, having ambition, having goals, having dreams, and believing in yourself. I don't even rap about going to strip clubs or women or none of that. It's all positive and upbringing and happy music when I do music." Currently right now, as I'm making this video, R-Truth is injured, but I don't think that he's going to give up music or wrestling anytime soon. First things first, RP Shad, for real, the man is truly a hero. Cryme Tyme was one of my favorite tag teams as a kid, no lie. A little sad that they never officially won the tag titles, but nonetheless the duo provided me and many others with entertainment. As a kid and even now today, I'm a big 50 Cent fan, and looking at Cryme Tyme, JTG specifically, his style reminded me a lot of him. The reasons why Cryme Tyme were so over with the fans is because they were authentic. Both Shad and JTG were from Brooklyn and had similar experiences growing up and being raised in the hood. The ideas for the characters of Cryme Tyme came from Shad because he wanted to mix a bunch of mainstream hip-hop artists to their characters. For JTG, he wore a bulletproof vest because of 50 Cent, had one pant leg rolled up because of LL Cool J, and wrote Yo-Yo on his glasses because of Soulja Boy. JTG also wore a yo-yo band-aid underneath his eye like Nelly, but after telling his friends about this, they roasted him, so he ditched the idea. I'm glad that they did, because that would have looked really crazy. But you can't forget that they had bandanas, wore Timbs, and had the chains. Bringing the hood to you is also a banger of a theme. Soon as you hear that Brooklyn, like you knew what time it was. This is one of my favorite rap groups of all time, and they have a couple connections with wrestling. The first connection is through ECW, with their song Hit It MFer appearing on ECW Hardcore TV in 1998. It was in a segment with Shane Douglas and Francine, and they would react to the song, calling it the worst thing ECW ever produced. Joey Styles corrected them and said that they didn't produce it, and Francine replied and told him to send it back and that the video sucked. That would be 3 6 Mafia's first connection with wrestling, but their second and definitely most known connection is them making Mark Henry's theme song, Somebody's Gonna Get It. That theme song is one of the best theme songs to date, and 3 6 Mafia would appear on SmackDown and perform the song during Mark Henry's entrance in 2006 in Bakersfield, California. Mark Henry loves the song, and it's funny because while I was doing research for this video, I saw that there were a lot of people who grew up and thought that Mark Henry actually did the song and was rapping, which is kind of funny to me. The situation between DDP and Jay-Z all started over the diamond hand sign. Jay-Z is known for throwing this up to represent The Rock, Rockefeller Records, but it's also said to be a double entendre for the slang term of a rock and a diamond. People who believe in the Illuminati think otherwise, but I'm not trying to get into all that. DDP throws it up to represent a diamond, like the diamond cutter, and I mean his ring name is Diamond Dallas Page, and after he would do it, there would be a bang and the crowd loved it. I will say that there is a difference between how DDP does it and Jay-Z does it, because DDP forms a diamond and he has his fingers spread apart, while Jay-Z forms a diamond but he has his fingers put together. How DDP even came up with the diamond hand sign was that he was leaving the WCW power plant, which was a place he used to frequent to train for wrestling, and a guy named Ron Reese suggested that DDP should throw up the diamond before he did his finishing maneuver, the diamond cutter. Now the trouble arises between Jay-Z and DDP when in the middle of the 2000s, Jay-Z was served papers saying that he illegally adopted DDP's diamond cutter hand symbol. The suit accused Jay-Z and Rockefeller Records of trademark and copyright infringement, as well as misappropriation of the hand symbol. DDP was seeking an injunction, meaning that Jay-Z would be prohibited from using the gesture and unspecified monetary damages. DDP's lawyer claimed that DDP created created the sign back in 1996 and quote-unquote copyrighted it years ago. While I was doing research, I came across a post DDP made on Twitter in response to a TMZ article about the case, and he said that he provided proof and that he did copyright the symbol, and it looks like it was first used in 1998. He also said that people would come up to him and ask him if he was letting Jay-Z use it or if he had licensed it to him. People would also ask him if he was letting Jay-Z use his sign. DDP's lawyer said that he first took the matter directly to Jay-Z's lawyers, but they were not receptive, saying that the real issue was how Diamond Dallas Page was using Jay-Z's symbol inappropriately. DDP's lawyer said that he provided Jay-Z's people with magazine covers, various DDP merchandise, and video footage dating back to the mid-1990s showing Page throwing up the cutter. DDP's lawyer further said, if you look at Jay-Z's encore video, you can see fans using the diamond cutter sign, and in video of Diamond Dallas, if you only looked at the fans from both those tapes, you'd think it's the same person performing. Jay-Z and Rockefeller Records use this symbol to promote themselves, to promote their artists, to promote their music, and to promote their fan base. People have come to recognize Page by this symbol, and the way that it's being used by Jay-Z and Rockefeller is taking value away from it and creating confusion upon the public. Now, whether you think this lawsuit is ridiculous or not is completely up to you, but in 2017, the matter was settled out of court by both parties and is said to have included an undisclosed amount paid to DDP. However, the thing between Jay-Z and DDP didn't stop there, because in 2018, TMZ reported that Jay-Z had applied to use the diamond gesture throughout several mediums ranging from music, video, TV, and or film. TMZ falsely reported that DDP didn't have a copyright, and that's when DDP responded on Twitter, like I showed earlier, with him providing proof that he did. To my knowledge, nothing has really came out of that 2018 situation, and DDP did an interview with the Flip the Script podcast at the beginning of 2022, and he said that he was all good with Jay-Z and that the matter has been resolved. Speaking of rappers and wrestlers having issues, the rapper The Game would have issues with Triple H, who's also known as The Game. You can see why there was an issue between the two over the name The Game. Triple H has been known as The Game since the late 90s, when in an interview with Jim Ross, Triple H referred to himself as The Game. The rapper The Game would come out as a rapper in the early 2000s after this. In 2006, there was a legal battle between the WWE and the rapper The Game over the rights to The Game name. About this, the rapper The Game would say, yeah, Triple H is trying to sue me for The Game. I think that we should just take it to pay-per-view and have a wrestling match, man, so I can F him up, because I'm not into that whole play wrestling thing. We can really take it to the streets. We can wrestle right in the middle of Compton. We can put a makeshift ring made out of shoestrings and light posts. I'll get in there and body slam his butt all over the place for the name. Growing up, The Game was a fan of wrestling, with him liking wrestlers like the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Sting, Lex Luger, and Ric Flair. But in 2006, he wasn't a big fan of the newer wrestlers. He referred to it as fake and said that at least the guys back in the day made it look real. The rapper The Game said that besides Triple H, he didn't even really know anybody else's name in the WWE at the time. This could possibly be true, because in an interview, he didn't even know John Cena's name and referred to him as the guy with the rapping thing with the spinning belt. I don't think anything really came of this lawsuit, because the rapper The Game still goes by that name to this day. Lil Kim is regarded as one of the greatest female rappers of all time, a trailblazer for women, so it's only fitting that she did the theme song Time to Rock and Roll for Trish Stratus, who's looked at the very same way. As Trish's character in the WWE began to evolve, she needed a new theme and was asked what she was looking for. Trish would say that she wanted something that she could vibe to and something that fans could feel and sing along to. Being a hip-hop fan, she suggested going with that genre. She would then be asked what artist she had in mind to perform the song, and her answer was Lil Kim. She said this not knowing that she would actually get Lil Kim to do the track. Lil Kim would meet with former WWE composer Jim Johnston to record the vocals, and this led to the track Time to Rock and Roll. In 2013, Trish Stratus would get inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, and due to time constraints, she couldn't share all of the names of the people she wanted to thank for supporting her in her career. She would form a list of people that she wanted to thank, and Lil Kim was on this list. Lil Kim Kim would reply to this on Twitter and thank her while wishing her congratulations on making the WWE Hall of Fame. This will conclude the first installment of this series about rap and wrestling. Definitely let me know in the comments what you're thinking so far about the series. Let me know some more things to include. I felt like for the first video, 10 different topics was cool, but all in all, let me know what you guys thought of the video. I love you guys with all my heart. Peace.